What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my movie collection for 2016 and part 2 of the war section. So last time we finished off with the eyes, so starting off with J up first, we have Jarhead from 2005, fantastic movie directed by Sam Mendes with Jake Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard, Chris Cooper, and Jamie Foxx. Yeah, fantastic movie. I thought it was great when I first saw it. Up next, we have a favorite of mine, and that is Kelly's Heroes from 1970. Great fun movie with Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, and Donald Sutherland, who's hilarious as Oddball in this movie. Yeah, great film. I've seen it dozens of times now. Up next, we have The Long Voyage Home from 1940, directed by John Ford, starring John Wayne. Good film from what I remember. Saw it a few years ago now. Up next, we have The Longest Day from 1962. Just a great film, of course, about the D-Day landings on Normandy. Saving Private Ryan before Saving Private Ryan came out. Yeah, great all-star cast, people like John Wayne, Sean Connery, just to name a couple I remember in this film. But yeah, great film. Let's see, put that back in the right place. Up next, we have MacArthur from 1977 with Gregory Peck. Up next, we have Memphis Belle from 1990, directed by Michael Caton Jones with Sean Astin, Matthew Modine, Eric Stoltz. Yeah, good film. Billy Zane. Up next, we have Midway from 1976, film with Charlton Heston and Henry Fonda. Yeah, good movie about the Battle of Midway. Up next, we have Mr. Roberts from 1955 with Henry Fonda, Jimmy Cagney, William Powell, and Jack Lemmon. Up next on Blu-ray, we have The Monuments Men from a couple years ago, 2014. Yeah, a film directed by George Clooney with starring himself, Matt Damon, Bill Murray, John Goodman, Jean Dujardin, yeah, Cate Blanchett. Yeah, I enjoyed this film about Allied forces trying to rescue stolen art from the Nazis and retrieve valuable art. Yeah, good movie. I know it didn't do very well, but I liked it. Up next, we have No Man's Land from 2001. Yeah, Oscar winner for Best Foreign Film back in that year. Yeah, great movie, of course, set during the Bosnian War. Yeah, fantastic film. That. Alright, up next we have Operation Pacific from 1951, part of the John Wayne collection, of course, starring John Wayne and Patricia Neal. A little tight in here. Up next we have The Patriot from 2000, directed by Roland Emmerich. Yeah, I like this film. Not a huge fan of movies about the Revolutionary War for obvious reasons, but I like this film. Mel Gibson's good. Heath Ledger, Jason Isaacs really good as a villain. Checky Carrio's good in this movie as well. Yeah, I've always enjoyed that film. Very good looking movie too. Up next we have Patton Classic from 1970, of course, with George C. Scott and Carl Malden. Yeah, Oscar winner for Best Picture. Yeah, just a great film. Up next, before it slips out here, we have Pearl Harbor, the director's cut, Vista series, of course, directed by Michael Bay from 2001. Yeah, I know it got a lot of crap, but I think Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett do a good job. Kate Beckinsale looks lovely in this film, and the action scenes, of course, towards the end during the actual raid on Pearl Harbor are fantastic. I've always enjoyed that film. Up next, we have Platoon, my all-time favorite Vietnam War film, and my second favorite war movie ever, Oliver Stone's classic from 1986, of course, with Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, Charlie Sheen, just a fantastic movie from start to finish. Absolutely love this film. Up next we have Pork Chop Hill from 1959, directed by Louis Milestone, with Gregory Peck. Up next we have Red Dawn, classic of course, of 1984, collector's edition. Love this film, directed by John Milius, Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Charlie Sheen, Leah Thompson, Jennifer Grey. Just fantastic. Seen it a bunch of times. Love me some Red Dawn. And I also got the 2012 remake with Chris Hemsworth, Josh Peck, Josh Hutcherson, Adrian Palicki, who I like a lot, Isabel Lucas, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah, I thought it was kept the original spirit of the first movie, and it wasn't as good as the first one, but it still had the right idea, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Good action scenes. Yeah, Red Dawn, the remake, wasn't that bad. Up next we have Run Silent, Run Deep from 1958 with Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster. Great submarine movie. Directed by Robert Wise, and also got The Sand Pebbles from 1966, which is also directed by Robert Wise, with Steve McQueen, Richard Attenborough, Richard Crenna, and Candice Bergen. Really nice Cinema Classics Collection edition. Up next, Sands of Iwo Jima from 1949, classic John Wayne film, of course. Up next, Saving Private Ryan, and of course my all-time favorite war movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, Best Picture winner from 1998. Should have won Best Director, of course, but he didn't. Oh no, he did win Best Director, and the film didn't win Best Picture. That's right. Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture. Yeah, Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore. Just a fantastic movie from start to finish. Up next we have Sgt York from 1941 with Gary Cooper, Walter Brennan, and Joan Leslie. Up next we have Sink the Bismarck from 1960, yeah, film directed by Louis Gilbert, with Kenneth More and Dana Winter. Yeah, good British film about the famed German battleship. Up next we have So Proudly We Hail from 1943 with Claudette Colbert, Paulette Goddard, and Veronica Lake. Yeah, about women's contributions during the war, which was very significant across the globe, in America and the UK, obviously. Up next we have Stalag 17, Special Collector's Edition. Fantastic film, directed by Billy Wilder, who, as I've said before, I'm a big fan of, from 1953. Fantastic performance by William Holden, Otto Preminger, and Don Taylor. Just a great movie, one of my favorite World War II movies. Up next we have 30 Seconds Over Tokyo from 1944 with Spencer Tracy, Van Johnson, and Robert Walker. Up next we have Three Kings from 1999, fantastic movie directed by David O. Russell, with George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and Ice Cube. Just a great film, set during the first conflict in Iraq. Alright, up next we have Tigerland from 2000. Yeah, good movie directed by Joel Schumacher with Colin Farrell. The first time I saw Colin Farrell in anything. Yeah, really good sort of boot camp slash Vietnam movie. Up next we have To Hell and Back from 1955 with Audie Murphy. Up next we have Tora Tora Tora, classic from 1970, of course, about the attack on Pearl Harbor. Again, Cinema Classics Collection. Make sure it's in the right place. Up next we have 12 O'Clock High from 1949, fantastic movie with a great performance by Gregory Peck. Again, Cinema Classics Collection. These are nice additions, these. There's a bunch of them for these war movies that I have. Up next we have U-571 from 2000, yeah, film directed by Jonathan Mostow with Matthew McConaughey, Bill Paxton, and Harvey Keitel. Not a great movie, but it has its moments. I enjoy submarine movies, and it's not bad. Alright, up next on Blu-ray we have Unbroken from, a couple years ago, 2014. Yeah, movie directed by Angelina Jolie about a guy who gets shot down over the Pacific and then has to survive in a life raft for a number of weeks, and then gets picked up by the Japanese and ends up in a Japanese POW camp. Yeah, really good film actually. Angelina Jolie, say what you want about her, but she's directed a couple of good movies, and I think Unbroken is her best work so far. Up next we have Valkyrie from 2008, fantastic movie directed by Bryan Singer with Tom Cruise and the all-star British cast with German accents, of course, about the attempt to assassinate Adolf Hitler by the German High Command. Yeah, really good cast. Kenneth Branagh, Tom Wilkinson, Bill Nighy. Who else? Terrence Stamp. Yeah, just a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed this film. Alright, moving on down here. Up next we have Von Ryan's Express from 1959, I believe. Again, Cinema Classics collection. Yeah, with Frank Sinatra and Trevor Howard. Up next we have Wake Island from 1942. Yeah, the first Hollywood film about World War II, of course, made during the war. Up next on Blu-ray we have Steven Spielberg's War Horse from 2011. Yeah, great movie set during World War I. I really enjoyed it. The score by John Williams is terrific. Yeah, one of my favorite films of 2011. Up next we have We Were Soldiers from 2002. Fantastic movie directed by Randall Wallace with Mel Gibson. Really good supporting cast as well. I'm trying to remember who else was in this. Let's see. Madeline Stowe. Yeah, Greg Kinnear, Sam Elliott, Chris Klein, Kerry Russell. Yeah, really good film. Underrated as far as Vietnam War movies go. Up next we have Where Eagles Dare from 1969. I'm a huge fan of this movie. Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood, fantastic. Really action-packed. Mary Urey. I've been to the castle where it was filmed in Austria. I went there in like 1990 or 91 as part of a geography field trip when I was living in England, and they told us about this movie. And we visited the castle where it was shot, and I've been a fan of it ever since, basically. Alright, so the last couple here. Up next we have the Wild Geese 30th Anniversary Edition from 1978 with Roger Moore, Richard Burton, Richard Harris, and Hardy Kruger. Yeah, good film. Oh, crap. Now everything's out of order. Let's get this back in line here. And last but not least, to round off the war section, we have Windtalkers from 2002. Yeah, good movie directed by John Woo with Nicolas Cage about Navajo Indians recruited by the army to help send messages so they don't get decoded by the Japanese. So that is my war section. Up next, that of course will be followed by the westerns. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you.